Greetings and welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunt Hangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench, which is right below in memory of our friends. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunt Hangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunt Hangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in and just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. You can enter your questions or comments in the chat box right over here. I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. And understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. And I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do that during a live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening. So please come on in and do that, participate. Now, if you find the Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts that I host or the many building videos, the contest coverage videos that Sparky does on this platform enjoyable and informative, please smash that like button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe, share the videos, comments. All these engagements help the Stunt Hangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunt Hangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm a member. I don't have to do that. I see the value in our programming, and it's like the equivalent of getting a fancy coffee at let me somebody. I don't know who's doing that. But anyways, thank you very much for fixing that. Anyways, now this is Sparky's YouTube channel. So if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do that is not necessarily Stunt Hangar Forum because I'm hardly on there. Go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. And if you will, locate the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video that Sparky shot with his video camera, me flying his beautiful and light Junar XL. It was orange back then, and now I believe it's white with some orange trim. And check out the pattern. Also, please comment there or ask me a question there because I'll get notified on my cell phone when I have a comment or a question. It'd be much better for me to get back to you quicker. So do it that way if you want to get in touch with me. And also, if you'd like, share, and subscribe there, I'd appreciate that. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, we're going to continue with the show. I already posted the link. That's why I have some people here in the gallery already with me. I had some technical difficulties earlier, and so I didn't want them to be waiting any longer than they had to. So let me see. I know that Howard came in first. So let me just start off with Howard. How are you doing, Howard?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Fantastic. Is the weather improving enough that you can go fly on Circle 1 or still not good enough?
No. It's all raining.
Yeah, that's the majority of people can't fly unless you live in Southern California or Virginia Tech. Sometimes you can fly this time of year. Is that true, Ed? Is there any
I'm sorry.
is there any flying weather out there in Virginia Tech?
West Virginia, we
West
are
Virginia.
warm enough, but very windy today. And it's not uncommon to be able to have 50, 60-degree weather off and on.
Okay,
And yeah.
very good. So have you been what you been up to, Ed?
Well, I was trying to share some photos. I'm going to have to text my son and have him get me back online, right? I failed to put the right stuff on my computer at the house here. So I was going to my AnyDesk to get to the office computer, but it decided to time out on me. So
Oh, okay.
I will be trying to get that here in a little bit. But no, I wanted to. I took some pictures of what the shop was looking like, and I was going to try to show them, but
Oh man, I'd love to see that.
um, hopefully in a little bit here. So
Yeah, you can do that in the meanwhile.
yeah,
We hopefully will be
yeah,
here for a while.
I'm gonna text my son and try to get that going, and then I'll get back.
All right, fantastic. Let me just
Yeah,
catch
and hi everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Ed.
Hi.
and let me see here. We have Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. He says, "Yo, thank you, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. I appreciate that." And then John Skukulek, who's actually a member of our YouTube channel. I'm not sure what tier he's at, but I appreciate his support. There's 3 tiers when you join our channel. The one that I'm at is at the lower tier. It's just $4.99 a month. And then we have another tier and then one above that, which is the big tipper. And so he says, what he said, illustrious panel liked. Thank you very much. We don't get too many illustrious likes too often. So I got to give him props, give him a shout out for doing that. Thank you very much, John. And then Gary Sinclair, who's also a member of our YouTube channel, is in here in the gallery. And he's also a monitor.
Just a second, I got to mute it.
I can mute you. You already did you get it? Yeah, great. So and Gary, he gave us a like too. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, I appreciate that. I believe it might have been Mark Wise who came in after Ed. Is that right?
I think so, either me or Mark Gerber. But in case Ed can't show the pictures of his shop, I spent a few days with he and his wife, and I can tell you all about it.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. So doing well, just starting to get heavily involved in planning Triple Tree, planning Brodeck, of course, the Nats, which I don't have that much to do with, thank goodness for John Paris and others. And Paul and I are pretty wrapped up in the world. So, of course, Bill Lee. So we're staying busy, and I'm just trying to maximize my time in the shop and make sure I have something ready to go for me. So things are good, no complaints.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know this show takes away a block of time from you even working on your own plane. And everybody who comes into the show, I really do appreciate you guys coming in. I know that you could be working on your shop instead of here. So I appreciate it. And then I think it was Mark Gerber came in next. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good, Charles.
So what you been up to?
I've been working on my Bearcat a little bit, and we're at the front edge of what looks like it's going to be a week-long warm spell here
Wow.
next week. It looks like the temperature is going to be up in the 60s
Oh, nice.
every day next week. So if the wind stays down, I should get some flying done. I went out to the field yesterday, and the grass is all dead as can be. It's real short, and
Oh, that's nice.
it's smooth, and can put the wheel pants on my Ryan and go for it. So
Put your wheel pants on what?
my Ryan.
Oh, you're Ryan.
Yeah, the wheel pants don't work well with grass, so I have a set of grass gear that I use.
Very
But
Now, did you lose your SV11 or do you still have it?
I still have it,
Okay, cool.
and I've been working on my Bearcat. I got a few pictures if you want to see those. So why did that go away? Right, well, okay.
Here we go. Oh, All right, those hinges.
Yeah, I use these pinned hinges that Keith Russell recommended.
Now
And
those are Robart ones or some other brand?
yeah, yeah. And they go in the back of the wing here into the flaps. So you need to drill out the flaps in the back of the wing very accurately.
Yes, I bet.
And then you have a concave trailing edge where the front edge of the flap fits right in there. It makes a really nice joint. And again, this is what Keith Russell showed me how to do. So I don't take any credit for the
Now,
geometry.
how do you get that concave trailing edge?
I do it on my router. I think I showed that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I got a router bit that has the radius of this trailing edge is in diameter is a quarter of an inch. And I found a round end router bit that has a radius that's 1/32 of an inch longer.
Okay.
Well, that's what the tolerance is here between the two moving surfaces. And then here's the flap blank just when I started, just a quarter-inch sheet. And I mark the places where the holes go for the hinges. And here's where I drilled the holes on my drill press. And then here's a rounded edge. I did this on my router as well. I got a 1/8 inch radius round over bit, and I just did each side. Does a nice job.
Now that is that round part, was that the leading edge or trailing edge of the flap?
This is the trailing edge of the flap that'll go into the rear end of the wing.
Okay.
And then I had to mill a slot down the round part for the wire that goes through here that'll go in, hold in the hinges, so I can take the wire out. I'll show you here's how it fits in the end.
Oh,
It's been over 90 degrees. And then here's one of the hinges I stuck in there just to show how it fits. So this is a idea that Jim Hoffman gave me that I applied to these pinned hinges. You can buy these from Robart without the pins in them, so you don't have to drill them out.
Oh, very cool.
And that's what I did on my first Bearcat. So, but what I did on this one, you can't really see it, but on my first one, I had a square slot here, and it was a little wider. It was about 3/32 of an inch wide. And I had some problems with these pieces splitting here,
All right.
and I had to glue them back in. It didn't look very nice, but plane didn't last long enough for that to be a big issue. But this time I found a bit that was 2 millimeters wide, which is a little narrower,
Hmm.
and also had a rounded end on the bottom. So again, you can't really see it here, but since it's rounded, I think the stress concentration right here is going to be a lot less. I think these rounded edges are going to stay on a lot better this time.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So we'll see, but that's what I've been doing last few days. So
Very cool. Now, are you using these Robart hinges exclusively now on all your planes, or just for the
no,
Bearcat?
I'm just using them on these Bearcats, sort of a la Keith Trussell. I got regular nylon hinges on my SV11, and on my older classic planes, I used ripstop nylon fabric, and that did a nice job. But again, since Keith kind of set me up how to do this, Keith's the kind of guy who you really never succeed very well by ignoring his advice. So he took the initiative to show me all kinds of things about how you build a Bearcat, and this was one of them, was using these hinges. And then I added their wire here to make them removable. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to next week. Should be a nice, warm, beautiful, unusual midwinter week. So,
Very good. I look forward to warm weather most weekends and most days.
Well, my son-in-law and my daughter were down in Costa Rica on vacation last week. And they came up to Colorado a week ago. Oh, it was last Monday. And the temperature difference between Costa Rica and Denver was 100 degrees. It
Wow.
was
Yeah,
like 10 below when they landed, and it was like 90 when they took off down there. So
that's quite a differential. Very good. So Bill Boner's in here with us. Hey Bill, how you doing? Your mic's muted. I'll get to you, Gary. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip you, Gary.
That's okay.
Hi, Charles and everyone. How are you?
Doing well.
Hi.
Doing well.
Howdy.
Good. Yeah, I'm trying to get in a little more regular now. I'm almost retired, so I'm going to make time.
Oh, that'd be
So-
great. I look forward to that, Bill. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. I mean, I enjoy it. I watch all the YouTubes anyway, but just trying to get into some projects and sort out some stuff. And so, yeah, I haven't really gotten. Well, I've got a few things that are just hanging on. Like I got that Sterling Spitfire that I've been working, and there's been some discussion on that the last few weeks as well, which has been interesting, because that's been of interest of mine all the time, for a long time. And I think we were talking about the Walter Umlin, the plan and everything. So, which I do have that as well, which is a way nicer plan to build than the kit.
Oh, I bet.
May
Yeah.
get to that. And actually, I had a question. I think maybe Ed there. Hi, Ed.
Howdy.
Hi. I think one of the last meetings you mentioned about enlarging plans, and I think it was you that was talking about
Well,
a method that you could enlarge a plan like from a magazine size.
I was talking about copying, but when you're
Oh.
looking at enlarging, you have to make
Yeah.
sure, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, you have to have like a good vector file.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, because I know which I got. Well, I got this from Mark. I got this from Mark. There, we talked a little while ago about the hurricane.
I was going to ask you about how that was going.
Make it big.
Well,
make that big.
I'm not making a lot of progress, unfortunately. I did try to email the guy, but I never heard anything back. And I try to. So a friend of mine who's pretty clever with this stuff, all we basically did was scan and enlarge it, but I don't know, it's kind of useless when you look at it's so
Yeah.
pixelated.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate when
You
that
see-
happens.
Everything
Yeah,
gets really fuzzy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you need the vector file.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how to do that, but I am going to pursue it. I'd love to get this plan properly done full size so I could build it actually. The Hurricane's been a huge favorite, and it's so scale looking. It's just beautiful. So that's I'm working on trying to. Actually, I was at another copy guy just yesterday, and but again, it's just an enlargement of the magazine or the small one, which doesn't really do much for you. But anyway, I'm going to keep pursuing it. Hopefully, I can come up with something.
That'd be very interested.
Yeah,
If you can make it
definitely.
happen.
Yeah. I don't know how I guess someone would have to make a vector file, like trace it out or something.
I get John
Maybe on
Miller to
CAD
do
or
it. I could do it, but I would bring my Bearcat project to a halt.
oh, you say you know how to do that, Mark?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, really? Oh,
And John Miller can be of help too.
yeah. I thought of that too. When because I know he's doing a lot of the CAD stuff. So
See, Bill, here's
it's-
the plans for part of the plan for my Bearcat.
shoot. Hang on, I lost you.
There's,
What did I do?
you see the plan?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Beautiful.
Now, I redrew that from I hate to call them crayon drawings, but the sketch plan that Al Raby did that was in the Pampa
Oh,
plans.
really? Oh,
And
that's beautiful.
I redid
Yeah.
it in CAD, and that's what I used to build it. And of course, having CAD, I was able to get the ribs laser cut and
Yeah.
the
Wow, that
fuselage
would be
formers
something.
laser cut. And when I crashed the
Yeah.
first one, I went to build the second one. It's been a lot easier because I
Yeah.
didn't have to redo all this work again. But
That's great. Yeah. And actually, I was really interested in your Robart hinge installation because I know I talked to Keith about that before as well. And I really like the look of the, the zero gap, the hinge gap and whatnot. But anyway, I mean, that's something. And also, I just, one of the other topics came up the other night. It was the Raby Sea Fury plans.
Yeah.
Somebody, because that was never in a magazine, I don't think, was it? Was it ever published by anybody? Because I've
Not a-
looked as,
not a detailed plan.
oh, no, no. I don't know if
There's
anybody's,
Bob-
There's an outline drawing that was in the original magazine article in 1973 or whenever that was.
Bob Whiteley said he had the plans that he could copy.
Bob Whitley.
Whitley,
Whitley,
yeah.
sorry,
Well,
Whitley.
John
Oh, yeah, right.
Callentine built one, but I
Yeah.
don't know what
Now-
John had for plans, to be honest with you. You could contact him and
Well,
say,
he said he said he had a kit, I think. Was that a
Yeah.
Walter Umland kit?
Yeah,
But so he said he didn't have all the former drawings, but I mean, I guess you could trace them off if he's got the actual wooden formers, you could just trace them. Anyway, maybe I'll talk to Bob then and see what he's got. That's another one on the hit list.
yeah, and also, Bill, I spoke with Walter and expressed did not want to copy anything until he gave me an approval, and he was more than happy to do that. And
Oh,
in
yeah,
fact,
okay, good.
he said he didn't want anything in return for it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, I do have the Spitfire, and I've got the other one he had on his site there, whatever, was the Ringmaster Deluxe, which is I forget the guy's name designed it. It was another beautiful airplane. So I actually have the plan for that, as full size plan for that too. But anyway, yeah, so it's trying to get into lots of stuff going on anyway.
Well, that's great. Going into your retirement, you're gonna be busy.
Oh, I hope so. No
So-
lack of things to do.
Just to clarify my understanding, a vector file, what is the file extension? Is it a DXF? When it's the vector file or what, or something else?
yeah, well, that's the international format. John Miller's on. John,
I saw his name. Where
Yeah.
no, he's been having computer problems or internet problems. So he
Anyway,
might be in and out.
the DXF and the DWG formats are AutoCAD and have kind of become the standard interchange format.
Hmm.
I use TurboCAD, which generates a TCW file, but you can also generate DWG files from
Hmm.
TurboCAD, and that's what I send to the laser cutter people.
Hmm.
But
Maybe
anyway,
I should
a vector format is like the two endpoints of the line. So a line you store just the two endpoints, whereas a pixel format you have all the dots all the way along.
Hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, maybe I should learn CAD.
Well, I decided about 15 years ago I needed to do that so I could get laser cutting done.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
John
it sure
Miller
makes-
had a thread on Stunt Hangar where he teach you CAD. I don't know if
Ah.
it's still there, but I know he had some like a course, kind of introductory course to help you
Oh,
learn the CAD.
The only trouble I find is every time I see something, somebody uses a different program. So, what is kind of like the easiest for model aircraft? And the model airplane news gave something totally different from some company in Italy that they recommend.
Hmm.
So it'd be interesting to see what the consensus is on what program to get familiar with.
I'm not sure there is a
Right.
consensus.
Because I have like SolidWorks, but I haven't really spent a lot of time working on it. I haven't even installed it on my computer. And I got to
Time
find
you learn one, it's obsolete. It's
Anyway,
changing so fast.
John Miller helped me a lot when I was getting started and suggested a program and
which
And what
program
was it
that?
you used, Mark?
TurboCAD.
TurboCAD. Okay, I've seen
Yeah.
that. That's the main thing. Use whatever somebody can help you with.
Yes. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let me go to Stuart. We got some background noise. I wonder who that is. Thank you, Philip. And then Stuart. So what you been up to, Stuart?
Not too much. Actually, I got a question here. I think I'm okay. Well, maybe not. I'm gonna see if you guys can tell. If I got enough,
Let me make you big here. Hang on. Okay, what's your question?
let me just, does that look like enough flap?
Yep.
Okay. I thought it probably did, but then I wasn't sure.
I think you have more down flap than up.
Yeah,
flap.
more down than
No,
up.
I got it there. That's tight. It's kind of loose in here. I haven't got it totally. Does that look all right?
Yes, plenty
Oh,
down.
that's plenty down. Up isn't quite as far.
And I should be okay, I think.
But
I
you
just-
got plenty of, I guess the elevator's not hooked up yet, is it?
No, I was just working on that this last little bit, so I'm gonna um I'll get that glued in and then I'll add the other on the elevator.
So what plane was that?
That's the twister, the Fanterizer twister.
Very good. Looks nice.
So it's coming. Other than that, that's about it.
Well, your shop is looking nice.
Yeah, it's coming together. I got another cabinet I'm gonna put in and then it'll be all done. So I can sort things out more though. I gotta clean up a lot of stuff, so. But it's coming.
Very good. Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Let me get to Gary Sinclair. Hey, Gary, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I just wanted to thank John Sugalak. Got his donation. Thank
Hey,
him tonight since he's
Shout
on.
out to John Skukulak. Thank you for doing that, John. All right. And then I know John Miller, you've been in and out. I'm glad you're in right now. So while we have you, and then I'll get to Mike Wonky and then Philip Bailey. What you been up to, John? John Miller.
Silence.
Earth to John. Earth.
Yeah. Earth to John.
Hey, John, is your microphone plugged in or is it not muted, but we don't hear you? And we really can't see your lips moving. We just see the bottom of your nose. Oh, and you can't hear us. Okay. All right. No problem. I'll continue on. And let me see here. Mike Lonky, what you been up to, Mike?
Just putting the finishing touches on a couple of RC planes for Sam, 3D stuff. Haven't done much control line wise. Just working on 3D stuff for the kid. That's it. So I'm making noise in here. I'm going to mute my mic and just listen to you guys. All right. Good to see
Thank you.
y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to see
Good
you.
to see you, Mike.
So Philip Bailey, do you have background noise too, or?
Yeah, I had some, but it's all right. Vic says tell you hello. She's over here
Hey,
on the other
Vicky.
side. Says, hey, Vicky. She can't see over here right now, but that's okay. She'll be all right.
All right.
Doing fine, but let me ask, I don't have the people on that I was hoping would be on right now. But at what temperature do y'all decide to leave the electric stuff at home? Because it's too cold.
-10.
No, seriously, 48 degrees. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful day, 48 degrees. And had the ESC or the timer, one of them decided that was too cold for the threshold for them, and it just shut down straight overhead with expected results.
Oh, I'm so
So-
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, just couldn't run fast enough. I mean, it's repairable, but it's funny the way these front ends of these things are built. It busts back to the leading edge of the wing, and that's it. It's like you got a crush zone. They really, whoever designed the front of these things, really, I think we know who it is, Mr. Adam Essen, sir, but did a good job because everything from the leading edge of the wing back is perfect. The leading edge was not damaged, by the way, so it's repairable. But now I got Tudor there. Darn it!
Now, is this the SV11?
No, this was the Vector. My red, white, and blue Vector I've been flying, and it's it become my kind of my go-to airplane, and took it out the other day, and beautiful day, just Tommy, Buddy, and I, and we were having a great time, and it just quit, just dead overhead, just quit, and I couldn't run fast enough to catch it. It splattered. I had about 2 more feet to go, and I could have caught it, so I had to try to stop before I yanked it and busted it up more. So anyway, one of those things. But there's got to be there's got to be a learning curve. There's a learning curve here. But busted the motor, busted the battery. ESC and timer are fine. They seem to work fine. But it's got to be the ESC or timer shutting down, and it has to be from the cold. There's just nothing else, because that thing's got 580 something flights on it. Never missed a beat.
Well, if that's the case, it could be a connection issue. If it has that many flights.
I check everything pretty regular. Everything's been taken apart and put back, cleaned and put back together. And I don't think it was a connection. I think because it did it twice. The first time it quit, I got through the overhead and came down and went to pull out, inverted, and it quit. And I pulled out right side up. And I don't know why I was dumb enough to think, well, I think maybe that battery went bad, because it was a battery that I've questioned before. So I put another battery in it that I never had any trouble with before, and I destroyed the battery. Battery and the motor are mucked up. It broke the wires on the battery. I can fix the motor, I think. I haven't taken it apart yet, but I think I can go into the motor and replace the wires. So that shouldn't be a big problem. But the battery is destroyed. It looks like it's usually flat on the front, and it's mucked up. I won't use it again. I'm afraid to catch fire. But
So
anyway,
the battery didn't.
No, didn't catch
Thermal
fire.
went
Didn't
away?
have any problems at all. But it just it bounced rather bad. It was a rather expensive splat,
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll get there. I'll get it fixed and it'll be ready to go again. It's the plane I do most of my flying on, so I'll get it fixed and get it going again. But I just don't understand what made it quit. Because it's gone so.
Did you use?
Go ahead, Howard.
What battery in ESC?
The ESC is a badass. The motor is a Cobra. The battery is a Thunder Power. 4 cell 2800. And I have not had a minute's trouble with that thing before. So I don't know what happened, but
Would it the low voltage cut off from the?
No, I checked my batteries before I put them in the plane every time, and I checked it. Even though it's busted, I checked it when it came out, and the voltage was fine. It wasn't the voltage that shut it off. It wasn't the battery. It had to be the ESC or the timer. That did have the timer that we got from the company in California that closed down. I forgot the name of it. But anyway.
The KR Governor?
Yeah. And it worked. That thing worked great. I mean, it's been working beautiful. I just don't believe it was a timer. I think either ESC, something got below its temperature threshold, I think, because it just shut off so clean, and it did it in virtually the same place, the same time, both flights. It's just the one flight I went a quarter lap further to try to get further downwind for the pullout, and it shut off instead of just past the top of an overhead. It shut off just before the top of an overhead. And second one, I just couldn't say. Do what?
What temperature was it?
48 degrees.
Sorry?
48, that's, huh?
48 degrees?
48 degrees, or 40, was it 48 or 43 degrees? Okay, 43 degrees.
Yeah.
But I figure with the way the front end's open on the thing and it getting air, the air chill in there was probably took it down into the 30s, maybe. I don't know. I just don't know what happened. But it sure shut off clean. I thought maybe there's something I'm supposed to know that I don't know about flying in cold weather. But anyhow, I got to do something to figure this out, because I got a bunch of guys around here that are going electric. They're talking about going electric, and now everybody's kind of saying, "Wait a minute, we fly in the wintertime a lot. This ain't gonna work." But I don't know. I need to know what's going on, because I don't do this again. I mean, the only other planes I got are really good airplanes. The two I've tore up so far are ARFs, and both of them have been repairable. But the other stuff's not ARFs, and I'd hate to find out whether they're repairable if I do something like this to them.
Right, I totally understand you're concerned about that. I'm intrigued too about that. I'm not that I'm going to have to worry about that, because
No, you just.
but still, I mean, think about it. I mean, there's a lot of electric cars. Do they stop working when it gets to be really cold?
Well, it does.
Actually, yeah, they do.
They do, actually. I didn't know that, and so several of my friends have electric cars, Howard included, and they've had a rough winter so far out here, because we've had a cold winter. Fellas I know in Chicago had a bad time with them. So I don't know what's going on. There's a secret to this somewhere, but I don't know what it is yet.
If I can interrupt on the subject of electric cars in the cold.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we get cold. And most of the people with electric cars that I've talked to, they have a gas car also.
Yeah.
For the cold. And
Yeah,
the thing I've always wondered about electric cars is heating takes a lot of energy. At 30 below, how do you heat your darn car? Just like electric airplanes have about a 30-minute to 1 hour endurance.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the
I'm
thing.
talking about full size, but
I thought I had gotten through one full pattern, and I checked the battery, and it was just where it usually is. And in the second flight, it shut off early, and the third flight, it shut off earlier. So I just don't know. I got to find an answer to this, because it's kind of got me bewildered.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd put it out there, and so somebody else somebody smarter than me could either give me an idea of what's going on, or help us figure out what to do. Maybe close up some of the front end or something, so it'll keep some motor heat in it. Something. There's got to be something.
I got the solution, Phil.
What's that?
Solution. We need hybrid model airplanes.
There you go.
We'll run a Cox 049 to power keep the electrics charged.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Bill, what about putting a test stand out there where it's exposed to the elements, have a motor, battery, ESC all hooked up, engage it?
Well, I didn't bring it upstairs where you could see it, but that's exactly what I've done.
Yeah, go out there in the cold temperature and see if it'll run the full time out in the cold where it's totally exposed, and then you'll know it wasn't the temperature or something else.
Well, that's what I built up to run, and I was going to try to test it yesterday. But yesterday and today, this is what I wore for a coat outside. It's my shirt. It's been 50. It was 57 degrees here today. Unusually warm weather. And yesterday was not quite as warm, but darn close. And we hadn't even been in jackets the last 2 days. I don't know this is the weirdest winter I can remember. But I don't know. I'm going to try to find an answer to this, because I've got 5 more electric airplanes coming. I do have 2 more with IC motors coming, but five of them down there needing paint in line to be painted are electric. And I've got a new gun. I've got a new air compressor. I've got all kinds of stuff. When we get some weather to spray, I'm going to spray.
All right. Let me see. Let me talk to Jim Bornholt. Hey, Jim, where you at? Did he go away?
I don't see him.
Maybe he'll be back, but he was in the gallery. So, John Skukulek, how you doing, John?
Good, Charles. Doing
Thanks for coming
good.
in.
You bet. I always enjoy coming in, and I do have a question for the group. It's okay.
All right.
Glad John Miller's with us because this Uniflow setup that I have used for a couple years now came based on reading some of his posts on Stunt Hangar. It's the one where you run the Uniflow line. It's a fixed line in a plastic tank, clunk tank, and a fixed Uniflow line that terminates about half the way back in the center of the tank and is on the outboard wall of the tank. And I've been using it on profile airplanes. And I've terminated the Uniflow line that's outside of the tank, sort of right behind the motor, looking for quiet air or dead air. Now I'm setting one up in a full fuselage airplane for the first time. And I think what I've seen with other people is that Uniflow line outside of the tank usually protrudes through the fuselage side on the inboard side, I think. And my question is, well, two-part. First, is that the best way to do it? And if it is, where do you point that Uniflow line? Do you turn it so it's facing forward into the airflow, or do you set it up in another way?
Hey, John, did you catch that, John? I know that your camera's off, but maybe your audio is well enough that you can respond.
Well, I'll take a shot at it.
All right.
My Uniflow line on my profiles, I usually run a pipe through the fuselage and into the airflow where there's nothing to interfere with that. Nothing to interfere with the airflow. Now take that one, it runs through the fuselage and then runs to the line that runs in the back of the tank and then over just in the middle of the tank. It just makes a gentle 90. A lot of the guys won't make these hard 90s for what? Anyway, make a 90 over to the side of the tank, and I just keep it about a 16th of an inch away from the side of the tank. And I always remember never put
Charles,
that up
can you
there.
hear me?
Yes, we
There
can
you
hear
go.
you,
There's
John.
John. There's John. Let him tell you. He's the one who designed this tank.
Go ahead, John.
John Miller, did you hear my
Okay,
question?
my
This is
audio
John
is off
Stickler.
here. I couldn't hear John's question. So I'm
Just
going
want to know
to
about the
go
tank.
over onto YouTube and sign in there, and perhaps he can repeat his question later, and I might be able to try to help him.
Hey, that'd be
Okay.
great. I'd be happy to do that. And Phil, going back to what you were saying, yeah, I don't use a 90-degree bend inside the tank either. It's probably more like a 45-degree bend.
That's what I use.
It terminates near the wall of the tank, the outboard wall of the tank. And for me, what's worked beautifully with my profiles is the other end of the Uniflow line, which is just comes out straight, and I aim it to end up behind the back plate of the motor. If I twist that right or left, it moves the Uniflow line inside the tank up and down,
Right.
and it changes the effective height of the tank. So I don't have to be moving the tank around to equalize the upright versus inverted engine run.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't have to move. You shouldn't have to change anything on the outside. I mean, you shouldn't have to move the tank up and down or move anything around. You can have that thing. I've had it almost on the bottom of the tank. And I didn't mean for it to be, but it was almost on the bottom of the tank and it worked. And I've had it almost to the top of the tank just to experiment after the one where it went to the bottom. But all you got to do for that is loosen the screw up in the middle, put a pair of pliers on it and put it back in the middle and just leave it there. Tighten it back down.
Yeah, that works well. I've done that. And so I'm a believer in this setup. But what I'm trying to decide now is on a full-bodied fuselage. Where do I want that uniflow line to be? Do I want to just keep it inside? But because I think I see, no, you can't keep it inside because you're going to use it to fill the tank. So it's got to come up through the fuselage, and I see it on the inboard side. And my question is, should it come straight out without turning, or should you turn it forward into the airflow?
I have had it come straight forward. It's just straight out the side of the fuselage and left it that way. And I've always ended up putting a piece of fuel tubing on it and a piece of straight pipe. I mean, a piece of bent tubing and then a piece of straight over here where it was putting it into the airflow. So now I just bend mine into the airflow, a nice gentle bend into the airflow. It seems to work much better. It's a ram air type thing, but it just seems to work better. The other way, I had it at one time, and I can't remember what we chalked it up to. But anyway, it was just straight out the side, and it was actually siphoning. I was losing fuel. I kept noticing, geez, the plane's a greasy mess. And that's what Tom decided it was. And I can't argue with the man. He knows more than I will ever know. But anyway, it's just, it don't matter where on the side of the fuselage you run it. You can take it out of the bottom of the tank and bring it straight down and turn it through the side of the plane and bring it up and have it out. As long as you have it higher than wherever it comes out, you have it higher than the tank. You don't want it dead level, because if you do, it'll siphon fuel out. You need a little bit up, where right side up, when it's just sitting there, it won't siphon.
Okay.
Then when the plane's upside down, it's getting fuel's been drawn out, so it's sucking air.
Yeah.
It takes care of itself. But for sitting on the ground, you want it a little higher than the tank, and just point it out into the wind, and it just works. It works fine.
Yeah. All right.
Never had a
I'll
problem.
give that a try.
I've always run my Super Tigers with muffler pressure and Uniflow. I found
used
that
to do that.
under really windy conditions, you can get variation in the engine run because of that ram air.
Yeah, and I think that's how John Miller runs his too, on muffler pressure. And I haven't done that because the first time I set one up, I didn't do it that way, and I've never had a problem.
No, that's me.
And
That's me. I've just always run it the way it works.
And so it could be that I should use muffler pressure. I just haven't tried it yet.
I can't remember who told me, but the reason I never did it was because someone told me that by putting muffler pressure on it, you were getting carbon residue back through even though it's minute amounts. I know people will argue about it. There's minute amounts that get back through the muffler and back into the tank, and then that gets sucked in your motor, and it'll wear out your motor. I don't know if there's any credence to that at all, but whoever told me, it stuck in my head, and I've just never done it. But that's the only reason I've never done it.
This plane is for yourself, John, or for your grandson?
This one is for me, but you mentioned my grandson. He's here tonight, and he couldn't make it. He fell asleep about 5 minutes before the show started. He wanted to come on, and I promised. He said, "You're not allowed to show my airplane to these guys because I want to show it to them." Now
right, exactly.
I'm going to give you a sneak peek, but I won't
wake
talk
his
about
butt up.
when he can stay up late enough and talk about it, he can talk about it. But I'm going to just give you a quick peek of his little toot that we're working on.
Let me make you big here. 1 second.
All right.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Very nice.
I like that.
How old is he?
He's 8.
Oh my goodness.
He's 8, and he's doing. I'm making him do most of it. In fact, he won't let me do much, but we're not done yet. There's a ways to go, and so the next time he's on and he talks about it, you don't have to mention that you've already seen it.
No, we won't mention it. We'll act very excited.
Seen what?
What you talking about?
Yes.
Well, I'm telling you.
Hey, Jim Bornhall, you're back.
I'm back.
Good to see you.
How are you, Big Jim?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty good.
Good deal.
Uh,
Good deal. Good to
yeah.
see you.
Oh, thank you.
So what you been up to, Jim?
Well, I about 2 years ago, I bought a Yak 9 from Brodak, and it's been sitting in a box for 2 years, and so now I finally got it out. I got the fuselage pretty much put together. I added 2.5 inches to the rear moment, and I think that'll make a little difference. Those old airplanes are pretty short coupled, so but anyway, it's coming along. Get it. It'll be slow, but I'll have it ready by spring. And then I got about 5 other projects I could work on after I get that done. But I just for nostalgia, when I was a kid, I built Yak 9, and it met its demise, and so it's kind of a nostalgia project. I'm just I want to put it together, make it look a little better than the first one.
Right.
I was about 12, I think, when I built it. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jim, how's your foot doing?
Fine. It's I'm all healed up and doing good. Walking in the shoe now. Got the boot off. I can
Awesome.
drive. I don't have to call anybody and ask them to come get me or anything. I can drive myself now. So I'm doing pretty good.
That's great.
That's great. That's
Good
great.
deal.
Anyway, I'll give you some updates when as it progresses. Maybe
right,
I'll
great.
bring it out for a show and tell.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, let me get to Bob Whitley. How you doing, Bob?
Actually, really good. It's been a really wonderful week. We finally got some decent weather. I got some good full-size flying in. Had a really nice breakfast with the old boys this morning, all my old model buddies, and scored a couple of Williams Brothers pilots that I wanted, and some filters for my air intake filter units, and got a quart of lacquer of butyrate thinner. It's been a good morning, good day.
That was a good
And
day.
one of the guys brought in the profile. I didn't know they even had them, but the old adjusted jigs. Apparently there was fixtures for doing profile models on them, and one of the guys knew I had an adjusted jig and he brought them in and gave me a whole set of them in the package.
Oh, very cool.
And one of my old military buddies came by, an honorary colonel, and we had a nice visit in the shop, and I'm encouraging him to carry on with an RC glider that he was doing. His wife's in really bad health, so he's kind of got away from trying to get enthused in the hobby, but looking around my shop and all the models, he's revigorated, and I told him, bring it on by and maybe I can work with you and finally put together my ASW 17 glider.
That's a good glider.
And it's been a great week, just a fantastic week. I was up with a young student for his commercial license last night for his second night lesson, and he was doing so good I sent him solo.
Very good.
Yeah, I just can't complain about anything. We've got good weather finally for at least another week, and yeah, life is good. And
Bob,
my
have you
Super
ever
Tanker
flown?
60 should be done this weekend, and so with this nicer weather, maybe I can annoy the neighbors and do some engine break in my yard.
He's a bad man.
I've got good
Bob,
neighbors.
have you ever flown a real ASW 17? I know you've flown about everything. Have you ever flown one of them?
Nope, I haven't flown an ASW 17. The closest I've come to that is a Grub 35.
Oh yeah.
Which is a 2-seat similar flying airplane.
When I was taking sailplane, the plane that I was supposed to do my second solo in, got damaged on the ground. The doctor says, "Here, take mine. It's a brand new ASW 17." I was white knuckle the whole flight, but I got it back up. I got it up and down one piece. It got me to go buy a kit well, really wasn't a kit, it was a semi kit, and build an ASW 17 model and take it out and fly it. Almost took it to the Nationals, but it's hanging down. Well, it's in a box hanging downstairs. But
What year was that you were flying the full size one, Phil?
Oh God, what was it? 70, 78, 80? I don't know.
Okay, so it was a brand new airplane then, because they only came out, I think, in 75.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was brand new. It had been delivered 2 days before. And Doc told me to take
I'm
this.
envious, you bugger.
I told him, I said, to this day, I tell him, you're the bravest man I know. He's still the bravest man I know. Because I think I was about 20. I don't know. I wasn't very old. And put me in that sailplane. I said, oh, he's absolutely out of his mind. But anyway, it went up like a homing bird. I mean, this thing just wanted to fly. It's gorgeous. But anyway, one of them things.
So that plane still had this new plane smell, huh?
That I couldn't tell you. I can't smell.
Oh, that's right. You can't smell.
Yeah.
Well, Charles, unless someone farts in it, a glider always smells new.
Yeah.
There's no engine to stink it up.
That's it.
Oh, I have a comment from Marcel Legrand. He says, "Hi, Charles, and everyone at Stunt School. I just got back from flying. Oh man, that's great.
Now I'm jealous."
And then Tony Dallas, who's a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you for your support, Tony. I appreciate it. He said, try using some freeze spray on the ESC. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I mean,
I've got a can of that downstairs. I'll try that. Thank you. That's a good
of course,
idea.
yesterday was the actual Robbie Burns Day, so the 25th. So when I got home late at night from flying, it was still the 25th. So my wife and I, we poured a little shot of scotch and give a toast to the Scots, to Robbie Burns.
And Tony Dallas also gave us a like. So we have right now we have 14 likes and we have 17 current viewers. And if you haven't hit the like button, please give us a thumbs up and please consider donating through either the super chat or the monthly donations through the joining the YouTube channel. Please consider, and also there's the subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that whether Sparky comes on or myself, you'll be notified. That way you can actually catch Sparky live or the show live. And let me see here. Then I haven't spoken to Lynn Burrell. Lynn has his camera. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you subscribe, and his mic turned off, so that whether Sparky comes on.
Hey Charles, how are you? Hey guys.
Doing well, Lynn. Thanks for coming in. How's
Lynn?
How's the
all's good
coming along?
It's ready to cover. It's all the components are built. It's ready. She should get it covered in the next few days, hopefully. And I got my Zero all framed up. It's ready to put together. So yeah, we're moving along here.
What are you covering Naomi's plane with?
I'm not covering it with anything. She'll be covering it with Ultra Coat.
Oh, okay. The fuselage too, or are you painting that?
The fuselage will be painted. Yeah. The wings and the tails will be Ultra Coat. It'll be a transparent Ultra Coat of some kind. She has every transparent. She has every transparent roll of Ultra Coat darn near in Canada, so she shouldn't have trouble finding a color she likes.
Cool.
Very good.
So it's all good. We're having fun.
Translucent pink.
I'm sorry?
Translucent pink, and she can call it the Pink Panther.
No, she's already got a name for it. It's the Twisterette, so she's happy.
Right. Yeah.
It'll probably be, I think she's doing a violet blue purpley color of some kind. So that's all right.
So she's doing it as the Twisterette. Is she gonna have a little picture of Chubby Checker on there doing the twist?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not the decorating guy. I just put on them what I'm told to.
I actually saw him live in concert about 1975, 76, somewhere in there. It'd be 76 or 77. That was fun.
Cool. All right.
So Lynn, tell me about this Zero. You're gonna what motor are you gonna put in it?
This Zero has got to be the lightest Brodak kit I have ever found.
Great.
The wing came out at like 6 ounces. The fuselage is like the wing and the tails put together are just under 10 ounces.
Very nice.
And the fuselage is 6 ounces.
Very nice. Wow.
So
What
I
in-
haven't put this airplane together, and the wing, the tails, and the fuselage are at like 16 ounces. I'm shocked. I've never seen an airplane this light. It's ridiculous.
Now I
So
know
you're
what
gonna
he
have to
was
put some
doing.
lead in it so you'll be able to land it.
Well, I'm gonna have to do something because it's gonna fly like it's
It'll stay up
like
there
it's
all day.
full of helium. Yeah, it's fly like it's full of helium.
Charles. Now
It's
I
a
know
Billy
when he was
airplane.
doing it. Now I know what he was doing at Brodak, handing the girls those $20 bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, I handed it. I got to tell you, I've handed the girls at the Brodak Hobby Shop a few too many $20 bills. That's part
Me
of the
too.
problem.
Brother, you ain't the only one.
Yeah,
Man, I'm gonna tell you what.
I've handed a few $20 bills to those girls over the years.
Me too.
Well, it's like I
Many
went into
too
the
many.
hobby shop
But hey, I got
expecting to spend
I got my
$4.99,
money's worth.
and I spent
Yeah.
$38 today.
Wow. I find I can rarely get out of any hobby shop without spending $100 plus ever. So I try to stay away from the hobby shops. That's the only way. That's the only way for me to not spend a pile of money.
Thumbs up, and please consider donating to either the super chat or who is that?
We got a loop here.
That was John Miller. Hey, John, I had to mute you because you're looping our playback, which is behind about 5 minutes. Hey, Lynn,
His loops are nice and round.
as far as the Zero, what engine you gonna put in there? Just a minute, baby.
Tower 40.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Tower 40.
Cool.
Those motors run outstanding. I like it's sort of a clone of the FP40, but the timing must be different on them because they run amazing.
Yeah, I've seen a Tower 40 run. They do run really good.
It's a real sweet run, so I'm gonna stick that in it, and it should be just fine.
Cool.
There's a couple things different in the back of it, and some of the guys who are really good engine guys were talking a year or two ago. I can't remember where, and Tommy and I got in on the conversation. They say that those motors are actually better than the motor that they cloned, and I don't doubt it. I have two of them, but mine are from Silver Fox, and they are fantastic motors.
Yeah,
And,
like
in
the
fact,
ones
when
I've been
when
running. Go ahead.
When I announced I was going electric, the two motors that people asked me to sell them right quick, one of them was one of those, and the other one was a Brodak 40 that really runs really well. So they're great motors.
Cool.
Go ahead.
So I
didn't mean
think
to
a
butt in.
Tower 29 or something like that, 25, whatever, I forget. Anyway, I gave it to Eric Bird in an airplane. I never ran the thing. Maybe I shouldn't have given it away.
Yeah, they're
great. The 25s and the 40s are amazing motors.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
that'd
I
be good
managed
for
to
him.
get
Good.
the day before I got married. I saw them on Kijiji here in Canada, and some lady was selling two of them for $60 a piece, and I grabbed them just out of chance that they might be decent motors, and they've turned out to be outstanding motors. So I got lucky on that deal.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen our little friend from Oklahoma fly his ringmaster at Brodak and whip everybody with it. He's got a Brodak 25 on that thing. And he's only got a 2-ounce tank. He's flying the AMA pattern on a 2-ounce tank on that motor on a ringmaster. And just, I mean, he's not unbeatable, but I don't have any worries of trying to beat him. I mean, he can really fly that thing.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Hey, Lynn, is your Zero about the same size as the Viac 9? Or is it bigger?
No, it's bigger. It'd be 48-inch span.
Oh, okay.
It's the same as all the Warbird kits from Brodak's, the bigger ones. There's There's
Yeah,
the
okay.
there's a Mustang, there's the Zero, there's a Focke Wolf, there's a bunch of them that are all about the same size. And then there's a couple of bigger ones. There's a Hellcat that's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Another one, and there's a Russian plane. I can't think of what it's called. I can never get the
Larrikin.
name of it right.
Yeah. It's got a weird name. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. It's a
Yeah,
I think it's Larrikin, but
58 inches, I think, is on that
yeah,
one.
that's it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that the
And there's a
That's a bigger
109.
The
Go
Russian
ahead.
plane? Is that a Sturmovik?
No.
Yeah, I think
Word?
it's got some
It
kind of
starts
hard to
with an
pronounce
L.
word. Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
it
it starts with an
Larrikin?
L. Larrikin or
Isn't it Larrikin
Larrikin
or
or something like that. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
But those two
So Paul
airplanes,
brought
that one
the,
and
sorry.
that's okay. That one and the Hellcat have a little more wingspan than the other Warbirds. And the Yak, of course, that's more along the lines of the old Sterling kits, the Yak and the P-51 Mustang. They were about 38-inch span or 40. They were quite a bit
A
smaller.
little smaller.
Go ahead.
I think the
Rob.
best flying
Bob.
one I've seen so far was that Zero. Those things all seem to fly so well.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about sort of scale planes and stuff, it brought to mind, Paul brought this month's copy of AMA magazine to the breakfast thing we do every Friday. And I looked through that, and there was a full page article on Windfall for the history of stunt that I'm sure most of us have. And there was a picture and a bit of a blip with Bob Hunt with a twin. And there was somebody's feedbacking again.
Yeah, Joe.
And there was
John.
Keith Trossel's, the piggyback airplane in there in the scale section. And so it was kind of nice to see all the regular hangouts on here in this month's AMA magazine. Anyway, that was my 2 bits related to what we're talking about, scale sort of airplanes or profiles and stuff. But
John, I don't know what's wrong with your system, but we're getting feedback when you're not muted. Yeah, too bad, John. Hope you can fix that. That'd be great for you to be able to talk to us.
I don't think he's hearing us. He's not reacting.
That's true. So Howard, how are things going, Howard?
Okay.
When you're ready.
Okay, Philip, did you get my email?
No, I haven't, but it's probably coming through. I got something that says view. I didn't see it till now.
Okay. Charles, no, I'm not going to do that tonight.
No problem. We can do it another night. No problem.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll talk to you about it.
No problem. Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Charles, can I brag about somebody on here?
Oh, please do.
And he's smiling now as I say that. I just want everyone to know that amidst this group of 15, I guess, there's a man who was in his prime, a pro-level tennis player, and I'm not sure any of you are, but also won a contest for the prettiest legs.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
And I can't.
Sounds like a liar to me.
No. I believe it. I was at his home for a few days, and the whole time he was wearing pants, so I really couldn't vouch for that or not. But I had a great time visiting Ed and Pat Waskey in Bridgeport, West Virginia, and got a tour of their company hangar where they were servicing one of many larger corporate jets. It was it was the first time I was able to get on one, thanks to John. And Ed is the real deal. But Ed, are you going to show pictures of your shop?
I tried to bring them up. Do you have them?
No. I was going to describe
Let me hit screen share and see where did it go.
it. Okay.
Stand by. It seems like if I don't do something with it fairly quick, yeah, it went into sleep mode. Yeah. I'll have to do it next time.
Okay.
I've got to get them on my home computer, and I was trying to do it from the office computer.
Yeah. Well, I've never been to Ed's house before, and he and Pat just couldn't have been more gracious. And I have two of the friendliest dogs you could ever imagine. So it was just a great time. But I learned something about Ed that I really didn't know. When I first got to know him, I thought he was normal.
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
He's a bright guy and a fun guy, and he, whatever he does well. And then he took me into his shop. I've been there before, but it was really nice. He organized a lot of things. It's a big shop, a lot of airplanes. It's very impressive, and he's also very generous with his stuff. But then Pat, his wife, told me about the basement, and and Ed took me down to the basement, and I'm telling you, that basement could be a hobby shop. I mean, and no junk, all nice control line stuff, some RC stuff. It was, and now I know he's not normal. I really feel good about it. When I go into my shop and I see all these kits and half-built airplanes sitting around, I feel like a jerk. But now I know I'm in good company. I got people like Phil with a bunch of airplanes, and anyway, he's a pretty special guy. He's been great to me at Pampa, and so I just wanted to say that about Ed being not normal.
Thank you. I hid my partially built airplanes.
Yeah, right. Well, I second
None
that
of
Ed's
us
a
have
great guy,
them.
but I got a question for Mark. Did you ever get that starter fixed
The starter?
on your car? Did you get it fixed?
Oh, I did.
Good.
Real
Good.
quickly, my dealer said I needed a new key ignition module, and that was going to cost $902.
So you bought a new car?
Yeah, I might as well get a new car. And then someone suggested not going to the dealer. And it turned out the dealer was dead wrong. The problem was the starter, and the repair was $500. So I told the dealer I'll never be back, and I'm sure that'll break their heart. But
Oh yeah,
it's just so nice to find an honest mechanic.
it's hard to do. I've got
It's hard
one.
to do. And
And
that's
it's hard.
hard.
I've been to many, and I finally found an honest one, and I keep going back. So
Yeah. So that's what I took to visit Ed. And when I left Monday morning to go to Brodak, the outside temperature was 2.
Ooh.
Yeah, 2.
No thanks.
Yeah.
That's too cold.
And it
That's too
started
cold.
right up. It started right up. So great time, beautiful state, and good people.
Yeah, I have been up in the lower part of the state, Beckley, many times. My wife's family, some of my wife's family's from up there, and a girl that I dated many years ago lived up there. So I've been up there many times, but I had never been to the western part of the state, especially the northwestern part, and it is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
Man, if you like outdoors and trees and rolling hills, you'll fall in love with West Virginia. It's beautiful up there.
Yep.
Anyway, I don't even see Charles on the screen, but I imagine
Well, I'm
he's about
here.
to get there. There he is. But I'm sure that airplane's about to come out, so we better start talking toy airplanes.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, Steve, Steven Mincelli, he's in here. So how's it going?
Pretty good. How you guys all doing?
That's just too darn neat.
Hey, Steve.
That's not even fair.
Hello.
Man.
Shop. This is Ed's shop. Very nice.
Yeah, that's Ed's shop. And his whole place
He's a
is like
sick
that.
mind.
His whole place
Yeah.
is like that. I'm telling you.
Every
He's so organized, it's scary.
box is labeled.
Yeah.
Boy,
Wow.
wow, look at
Wow,
that.
those are nice toolboxes.
Wow.
He does. The whole place is like that.
Holy smokes.
That's
Whoa.
too much stuff.
Yeah, look
Wow.
behind that. There's all model airplane kits back there.
That's very nice,
He's
Ed.
got a first class operation going there.
Yes, he does.
I want some of those big boxes there. Those are nice.
Now, are those cabinets or are those toolboxes, those big upright things, Ed? Oh, you're muted, Ed. Ed,
They're-
you're muted.
Their storage.
Ed, you're still muted. You got to enable your mic.
Sorry.
There we go. That's all right.
Yeah, if I wanted something radio control, it's in here, servos, transmitters. I also do plastic models, so I have a one for that. Paint stuff. Same thing with where'd it go? The other two. Okay. This is all control line, not quite organized yet. This is when I do the kids, the top is all rocket stuff. The bottom is all like light ply and plywood. So I don't have to, I was always trying to find something and stuff. So yeah, you can see a buster up there, a ring rat.
Very
and
nice.
stuff. Yeah, and there's more stuff to organize in the backside. And then on the left side of here is where the sander and stuff is and all that. So it's getting there.
It is. So are those like closets? Those upright things, or they have shelves in them, or are they?
Oh yeah. Yep. They all have 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves, 3 to 4 shelves. It's up to you. You put them together. It's made by Seville. They used to be locally at Sam's, which is a big discount place, and they're called Seville Classics. But my golly, I'm glad I bought them when I did, because the prices have gone crazy now.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can't see it. I was trying to show you the workbench. That's part of the one toolbox, which is almost 8 foot long. And that I bought for like $450, and now it's up to $900.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad this was a collection over the years of that.
Very nice. Very.
Yeah. So okay.
Charles,
I appreciate
the messed up part of his shop, the really messed up part of his shop at its worst, looks better than my shop at its best. So
I understand that.
That much organization, some people say, is the sign of a sick mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
a
not
clean
normal.
Desk, a clean desk is a sign of a sick mind, right?
yeah.
Is that what they say?
My toolbox is like that. I always wanted to be able to lay my hand in my toolbox and find the tool I need and pull it out and use it and put it back without having to look. If I couldn't do that, I was a little upset with myself. So I got a raise one time because my boss told me I couldn't handle, he couldn't name 3 tools and we have them laying on the desk in 5 seconds blindfolded. I did it in 3. He had to give me the raise. He didn't want to, but he did. But that's a toolbox, though. It's a briefcase, not a big one. It's a briefcase. Was a national service tech for many years, and Lord, the things we did. But anyway, oh my gosh, his shop and Howard's shop are the 2 I'm envious of. They're both just, those guys are both so organized. It's spooky.
I haven't seen Keith Trossel's shop, but by the look of his den there and all his book organization and everything, I can imagine it's pretty much like that too.
When you see the Colonel, you've seen the Colonel. That's all I'm gonna say about that. He's a class act from one end to the other.
Keith's basement is a museum.
Yeah, but it's always neat. It's always clean and pretty, and it's just everything Keith has is just. He's just a first class guy.
He's got an amazing stock of airplanes there. Going
Yeah.
back to his original Focke-Wulf that won the Nationals in 1970, I guess it was.
I did know, but I've forgotten right now. He's got some beautiful stuff though.
He's also got a beautiful library that has about every
Yeah.
book ever printed in relation to model airplanes.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you
That
usually broadcast from, and I'm just a gog at it. It's just
Yeah.
fascinating.
How is he? I haven't seen him lately. Is he all right?
As far as I know, we just all had lunch a few weeks ago. He drove up from Erie for that.
Yeah, I haven't seen. He hadn't been on here in a couple of months. I haven't seen him. Kind of miss him. Miss all the guys when they're not here.
I thought he was on just a few weeks ago.
He may have been, but I have missed a few lately. So he's probably on tonight when I wasn't. I'm always upset when I miss a night when he's on or Bob Hunt's on or, you know.
He's planning to go to VSC. He said he would take my airplane down for me. So,
Cool deal. Are you going to be in shape to fly it?
I hope so.
How's that arm coming?
Oh, it's still kind of sore, but
I know that feeling.
it doesn't. The part of it that hurts, it's not part that I normally use for flying. So, I think I'll be all right by then.
Good deal. Good luck.
I'm going out next week and try it out. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we're supposed to have a pretty week next week here too.
The warm weather we're having here, we're planning to have, it'll be really nice.
Mm-hmm. We're planning on doing a little flying next week. I got a buddy call me today, said, we're going fishing next week. I said, I don't know about that. Think I would rather fly right now. If we get another day like today and I have planned to do something else and don't get to go paint, I'm going to be upset. Because I've got I've got an airplane, it just needs 2 colors put on it, and then I can sand it and get it ready for the clear. It's a humongous, but I think it's going to be a really nice one. I can't believe when I pick it up how light it is.
Oh, that's
And
great.
I had decided to put a 60 in this thing, and now I'm cutting it back and going to try to put a 51 in it.
Nothing wrong with having too much power.
Well, I know, and it may end up with a 60 in it. I've got a 60 that's got a brand new ring in it and all that, but it's got a ring. I never did get one of those Brian Gardner ones, but I do have a Brian Gardner 51, and I've got a Tom Lay 60. So I may put the Tom Lay 60 in the thing and see what happens.
You know,
it is light.
When I flew Sparky's June R, it did not have it just had the ring. It wasn't the new Brian Gardner sleeve and piston. It was a regular Super Tiger.
Yeah.
And it was
that plane
it was nice.
Oh, that plane was, yeah, I've seen that plane a few times and held it for him while he burped it a couple of times. That's very light, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody says that's the ugliest plane that Bill Werwidge ever designed. I said, well, if that one was the ugliest one, then he never built an ugly airplane, because I think it's pretty.
Yeah.
I agree.
So Steve Minchelli, let's try it again. Last time your audio was kind of iffy. Maybe if you stay close to your microphone or computer.
What's going on?
Not too much. What's happening with you?
Not too much. Just went out flying today and then had work after flying, and I guess the lady that owns this house here where my mom stays is giving my mom a 60-day notice today instead of a 30-day notice. So that was the good news to come home to dinner and sit down and eat dinner about. If you call that good news, I don't know. I'm kind of sick over it.
Yeah.
Just today flying just one stunt pattern and one old time stunt pattern, and I flew my little ringmaster with my FSR 25 and my
there you go,
old 40-year-old stunt ship with the Tiger 46 on.
You were saying
And my
little
arm
ringmaster.
is,
Were you talking about a junior or an S1, Steve?
no, it's a regular S1.
Uh-huh.
I think it's not a Sterling kit. I think it's a Brodak kit. I'm not sure. It was given to me by one of the members in our club at a contest a few years back, and it was set up with a Brodak 25 in it, and I ended up dumping the Brodak 25 off and putting a brand new OS FSR 5 on it because it just fit right and bolted right in. So I had to put a little bit of tail weight on it to make up for the for the ball bearings and that. But in the end, I mean, it's not, I guess it wouldn't be considered old time stunt because it's not a McCoy or a Fox or something like that, but it flies well, flies all right.
The limitations are on the airplane, not the motor.
Yeah.
I got a friend here that flies an All-American senior with that motor, that 25F you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good little engine.
He sent it to Tom Dixon, had it rebuilt. Tom had one comment when he returned it. That is one strong 25.
Yeah.
And it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got a Brodak 25 on an ARF ringmaster I have, but I've only flown one flight on it, and it wasn't much of a flight because high winds and I had bad fuel. So the engine ran like a toilet. So I just landed it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough for today.
You guys, I have Ed Watsky has his hand raised.
Just real quickly before I forget, I was waiting for Jonathan Carradas to see if he showed up, and I just wanted everybody to know that we were going to wish his wife happy Australian Day.
Oh,
just today. So Jonathan, when you listen to this, we're thinking of you there, mate.
All right, thank
tell
you.
your wife. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
So, Steven, how many people are out there? Was this at Whittier Narrows you was flying at?
Yeah, today there was quite a gathering today. We had 4 people at the North Circle, and then the lower circle, I guess you call the South Circle, or Circle number 1 was pretty. It was loaded. I think there was 6 guys there. 6. There was. Let's see.
Wow.
We had Mr. Harris, Mr. Wright, Clint Brooks, myself, Hewlin Matthews, Willie, Jimmy, Don Rep, Tom Muggleton, Mike Meadows, and I think that was it.
So does John Muggleton, does he fly?
Tom Muggleton? Yeah, he flies. He flies his airplane.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
cool.
he uses his airplane as a test bench. He got all kinds of engines from the past when he had his machine shop and did all his work and stuff. He does all kinds of, or used to do all kinds of neat stuff to engines, man. He's a pretty, if he had the machines that he used to have to do it today, he would probably have a pretty good business going still,
Yeah. On my Fantarized Twister, I actually initially had a Tom Muggleton
40
FP40. Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of it? Did you like it?
Back then I was just getting back into as my first plane. Well, actually, second or third plane I built when I got back into it, and it was lent to me from Dave Sabon, and so I didn't know enough to know the difference.
Right.
And even then, I later on put in I bought another I bought a FP40, a stock. I couldn't tell the difference, and I think it's mostly because I just did not know enough. This is it's like 17 years ago or so.
Yeah.
I just didn't know enough I didn't fly good enough to know the difference,
Yeah.
But the motor ran good. I mean, the only thing I can tell you, that motor always started on the first, second flip. I mean, and it was always the same motor run every time, that was always the case. It was a very consistent motor never gave me a problem starting. I don't even think I even went through a glow plug. You know, just a
But it's
solid
funny.
motor.
It's funny you say that about the glow plug. I don't know how many years I've been running that purple Nobler, but I bounced it off the concrete one morning, and I broke the motor mounts out of it, and I put them back in. And the day that I did that, I broke the tip off of the glow plug. And I never have replaced the glow plug because the glow plug still works when you put the battery to it.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, but that's the same glow plug that came out the engine came out of the box with when he gave it to me. So
Wow. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't remember changing the glow plug. So it's I
yeah.
guess they really are good engines.
And it's a very consistent run. I don't know if it changes it much what he does to it. I don't know if it really changes the run on it, too much as compared to the stock FP40, because the stock one runs pretty well as well.
Mhm.
As long as you don't have one that acts up that needs head gaskets or something. But
Right. Yeah. So when I put this stock one in, I was at that time, I was still focusing more on the maneuvers, trying to
right.
figure out how to do stuff more than, I just wanted power when I lifted the nose up. That's all I cared about.
Exactly. I understand. Right.
And it did that. So John Miller, he asked me a question in the chat box. Do I see this? And I said, yes, John. So I don't know where's John at. Is he gone? But anyways, Stuart Morrison has his finger raised, the middle
Yeah.
finger.
I got a question. LA makes a 65.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever used one of those?
Yeah, I had one. The thing weighs like a brick.
Yeah, I know it's
So I
heavier.
traded it off. Even the muffler was pushing 6 ounces. The thing was just a brick.
The LA 65, I don't know much about it. I just caught wind of it just recently, a few months back. Tom Muggleton was working on one, just testing it out and checking the way that it runs and so on and so forth for a guy in I forget the name of the club over there at the Sepulveda Basin, but he flies it's a radio controlled profile airplane, it's a 3D radio control airplane that's converted to a control line.
That's Chris, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you know who it is, Charles.
Yeah, that's Chris.
Yeah, and that airplane went from an Enya 60. He swapped from an Enya 60, and now he's running an LA 65 on that.
Okay. Like that compared to the Super Tiger. Is it Super Tiger 60 they make?
Super Tiger 60, yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
about the same weight though?
I'd say it again. I didn't the last part.
The LA 65 was about 50% more weight than the Super Tiger 60. It was, I could look it up somewhere in my notes, but it was just ridiculously heavy.
Wow.
Yeah, the power to weight payback is not worth it. There's too much weight in that motor. Same with the other OS Max big motors. They're just too heavy for control line stunt. Except for like Chris.
It weighs about this.
Chris
I've got an Evolution 60.
He has a short nose, so he's able to get away with that in that 3D plane because there's a real short nose moment. So that heavy motor works in that case, but most time that's not a good motor for stunt.
It's like I've got a big block Evolution 60 RC, and it weighed about the same as the LA 65.
Yeah,
just huge.
Really? I had a Evolution 60. I don't remember being.
Yeah, there's two different ones, Charles. There's the small block based on the 46, and then there's the big block.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've never
mine's
seen
the big block. I can pull it out and weigh it for you if you wanted, but
No, I believe you.
they're two totally different engines.
Are those, Bob? Is that is one a 60 and one a 61 in the Evolution between the two you're talking about?
Give me a minute. I'll check. I'll pull it out of the drawer.
Yeah, I've seen both of those motors. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the 61 that's the heavy one. The 60 is light. Both the RC and the control line version are light. It's the 61 Evolution that's the heavy one.
The heavy one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I used to fly with a guy who had a Evolution 60 in his SV11, and it flew really nice.
Motor.
Yeah, you just have to use I think no caster. It needs to be all synthetic.
That's right.
Yeah,
All
mine's a
caster.
61. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the 60 is like I say, a totally different engine. This thing's freaking huge.
Oh, wow.
And then you add the
That is
muffler to it.
large.
It's a serious
muffler on the
paperweight.
thing. And, well, for RC, they're a good engine, but control line, no. I got a really good price on it though. I only paid $100 for it, brand new. So what the heck? I'll throw it in one of my RC planes someday. Might put it in my Corsair.
So do you have
airplane.
both motors, Bob? You have the 60 and the 61, or just the 61?
Nope, just the 61.
Okay.
I'd like to get a 60. Apparently, they were a really good motor.
That's what I've always heard. I've just never had one.
Yeah, they
The
are.
40 was a good motor. Had a little experience with that one, but I watched Dan Banjock run his and decided that might be an engine worth playing with, but I never got my hands on one.
Dan Banjock can fly anything.
That's the truth. Have you seen that World War I airplane of his that's got the 46 in the very front of it? It's a biplane. It's got the 46 up front, but it runs a propeller that's behind the wings. That was an amazing thing to watch fly at Brodak. I watched that and I thought that was amazing. I really enjoyed that. And he says, well, I'm sorry I couldn't stunt it. I don't care about stunting it. I just wanted to see that fly, and I did. It's neat. But Danny's a neat guy. He's just a neat guy. I hate to lose to him, but he's a neat guy. You go up against Danny, you better be on your A game.
I told Paul a comment that was said on Stunt Hangar here a couple of weeks ago from Howard, that Paul Jabot here is kind of the Danny Banjock of Western Canada. He does just about everything.
Yeah. Dan's got a free flight airplane, and y'all are going to think I'm kidding you on this one, but I'm serious. It's got a soda bottle inside it. And the motor is, you pump it up with a pump, you compressed air in that soda bottle and launch it. And
What?
it's just, yeah, it's got a little CO2 motor and the compression in that bottle.
Okay, did he take one of those old air hog toys that the kids had that you used to pump them up and send them flying?
I don't know. That's what it reminded me of, but I never did get to ask him about it. But I
So
told
you
him, I said, whatever you do, don't put that thing in your car with the tank still compressed. He said, why? I said, well, a friend of mine built one of those C-130s and had a tank like that in it, a plastic can in it like that for the Lamaires. He put it in the car, it got hot, and we heard a loud boom, and his van was just completely full of foam shards. The C-130 was just pieces.
I had to mute you, Mike, because of the background noise.
But I hope Danny does not suffer that, because that airplane he's got that one in is beautiful. Like most of this stuff is beautiful.
Sorry about that, Charles. I forgot the TV was on. Bob, it's exactly like an Air Hogs motor.
Okay.
Yep. It's a soda bottle. You pump it up with just a tire pump, compressed air. It's not CO2. It's compressed. The bottle is the tank.
Yeah.
And, they make them this big and up to 2 liters or whatever I've seen.
His has a 2 liter in it.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about.
The motor is, the Air Hogs ones were just plastic molded models that you could buy at Toys R Us for 10 or 15 bucks.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of those. They work great. They're actually pretty awesome. You get about a minute runtime out of them before they run down.
Wow.
That's cool.
So how do you get one big enough to fly the stunt pattern?
No, I don't know about that. This is free flight.
And Phil, that plane too, it's not small.
No, it's not small.
No,
I mean, it's got a 2 liter bottle in it.
Yeah, it's stick and tissue, Bob. So it's a
Yeah.
stick and tissue, old time free flight, big dihedral, rounded rudder, rounded elevator. But
Right.
it's got a 2 liter in the fuse. So you can imagine that it probably has a 36, 38-inch wingspan on it. It's
Yeah,
a
at
pretty
least.
sizable model. Yeah.
So it's kind of like those old time free flights, spark ignition ones that were given to me, like one of the smaller versions then.
Yeah, smaller version.
All
Probably
stick
like
and tissue and weigh nothing.
Yeah.
I think that Ross Grady got his wood from the same place as Billy did, because these giant free flight models, even the one with the 92 on it, you can barely feel them when you heft them. There's no weight to them. Just
It's
incredible
called
building.
unobtainium balsa.
Yeah. Phil, I saw Danny fly. He was flying that at the Nats last summer. The big
Yeah,
one.
I saw a video of it and it was amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't
pretty
get
cool.
to see that, but I enjoyed watching the video.
That's crazy. They got those free flights with 90s and 120s on them, or what? That in the big that big?
This is a Spark Ignition 92. I guess you weren't around when I pulled them out and showed them there the one night about a year ago. Maybe I should do that again some night. But
That's cool.
yeah, it's got about a 90-inch wingspan, at least in the 80s anyway, with a 92 Spark Ignition in it. Is one of them.
Nice.
So I've got them with the 30, a 46, a 60, and a 92.
Wow, that's way cool. That's cool.
And these engines don't have more than 15 minutes runtime, because free flight, you only run them for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they never gum up on the gas engines.
Well, the problem you don't wear them out by running them. You wear them out by hitting a rock on landing. It is free flight.
Yeah. Now what I'm going to be doing is pulling the 30 out and putting that in an old time stunt model I got here. And then eventually, when I hunt down the plans for the Belfry bound, I'm going to put the 60 in that one.
The more I think about a Belfry bound, the more I want one. I'd love to
They are
see
such
somebody
a
fly one
wild,
again.
cool looking airplane, and
It is. That's
he
big
said
wingtips.
that they fly great, I'll believe him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing it fly at VSC many years ago. Back before he got
What
sick.
is he? What is the old time stunt model, Bob, that you have for that Spark Ignition that
Well, I got
you're
a couple
talking
of them,
about
but
right
the one
now?
I'm going to do, I'm having an old guy brain fart. Let me go check on it here.
Okay.
Mine's a super duper zilch with a super cyclone 60 on it. I've only been able to get it to run long enough to run the whole pattern, fly the whole pattern about 3 times, and I have not flown it yet with that spark engine on it. Still trying to get it broke in good, but sometime this summer I hope to maiden it. I've had the airplane about 6 years.
Yeah, sorry, Stephen. It's a Viking.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
If the 30 isn't enough, I'll put the 46 in it, but I think it'll be good.
Yeah, Viking with a 46, that'd be.
Yeah,
right
the
up.
30 would probably be plenty good.
Yeah.
You want a killer. If you want a killer engine to go in that thing, put a 51 in it. Terry McDowell had one with a 51. He had the old style in it for a while, and then he put a modern 51 in it, and it was a great airplane with either motor.
Yeah.
He was
I
hard to beat.
figure I got enough airplanes for old time. It's going to be a Sparker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I've got the one
That's what I
old
was
timer
thinking.
that I got for cheap with an LA-25 in it, but horrible airfoil on it. I don't think it'll fly very well. I haven't tried it yet, but I figure old time stunt, put a spark ignition on just cause.
Just take it out and practice with it. I mean, I would have bet you money that a super duper zilch would never do anything on a modern pattern with all the high angles and all you have to pull. But Jim Lynch did a pretty good job of one with a 46 in it. Tommy Looper took one to Huntersville and won expert.
I'll bring that model up and show you if you want.
A super duper zilch, in my opinion, that's a real nice airplane for old time stunt. That's got a real nice. It's like a big overblown humongous. It's like a big overblown humongous kind of actually.
Well, yeah, but with a skinny little wing and a sharp leading edge, where a humongous is a big, thick wing and a blunt leading edge, comparatively speaking. Yeah, I have both downstairs, and they're both good airplanes. But I love the Boxcar Chief. I've won more with the Boxcar Chief than any other old timer I've got.
The Zilch's wing is not that thin, is it?
Yeah,
Pretty big, isn't it?
This is a guided star.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Let me make it big. I'm sorry. My attention was on the chat box. Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty thin wing, sharp leading edge, but short coupled, but it's fairly light. Unfortunately, the tissue is just disintegrating with age, so I might have to recover it. But it's got a LA-25 on the nose.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I got nothing to lose. I'm gonna thin out a bit of rejuvenator and spray it on it and see if it brings the tissue back. But I only have to do a few repairs on it.
I like those
That'd
wheels.
be the thing to try.
Nice vintage wheels.
Yeah, they're not old time wheels, but they're light. Anyway, it might be a fun plane to fly.
Did you build that?
They're fun.
I got it for the price of the motor. The fellow had passed away, and when I was down in Vancouver, I picked it up and at the meeting, and I got it for $50 with the engine and a whole bunch of other crap. So
I saw one of those fly at VSC, and if you get practiced up with that, you can be dangerous. They fly. Guided star flies well. It's built right.
Yeah. Well, this one, it looks straight and it's fairly lightweight, so I'm looking forward to it. But with that knife edge leading edge, it's like an F-104 starfighter practically.
Well, Tom Looper flew the one you mentioned a minute ago. Viking with a leading edge that was so sharp, I couldn't believe it wouldn't hunt, and he flew that thing, and it took me a year to beat him. I finally beat him twice, once the first of the year and once at the end of the year. And it was the only time that plane, I learned later from one of the other guys, that's the only time in the 3 years that he flew that plane, it ever got beat. I beat him both times. And I think both
comments about this guided star
I think Tom let me beat
are
him.
enlightening.
I still think Tom let me beat him because I don't think I was flying that well. Boy, Tommy was dangerous back in those days. He was good. Still is. I got a terrorist sitting here in my lap looking at me like, when are you gonna take me out? I guess I better break down and take him out before he decides to bite me. He won't do that. But he's a good boy.
The way this covering is so fragile, I think I better deal with that sooner than rather than later and try shooting a coat of rejuvenator on.
I can't find it, Howard. I've looked at it and I can't find it, but maybe it's come through by now. Let me look again. Wait a minute.
All right.
Fish food promotions. Fly fish food social.
Can you hear me, Charles?
Yeah, I can hear you, John. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Am I making too much noise or anything?
No, right now.
No, you're good now.
You go ahead.
We can see you.
Oh, good.
Howard, send me a personal chat on Stunt Hangar, and I'll call you tomorrow. I'll write you, text you tomorrow.
Okay.
You take care of yourself. I'm gonna go take this dog out. He don't get up like this unless he needs something.
All right. Hey,
He's looking at the door. Yep. Y'all be careful. Have a great week. Try to stay out of trouble.
Thanks, Bill.
Right.
Good night, Phil.
See you, Phil.
Good night. Good night.
So, John, what's going on with you, John Miller?
Well, I had problems with the computer, but it was my own doing this time. It was, I thought I'd close the window to the YouTube, and it wasn't. So that's why I was getting all the feedback. When I first came in, I didn't have any audio from this site, so I couldn't hear a thing you were saying. First, right. John Sukalak, he's still here.
Yeah, he's still here.
John, are you still there?
I am.
Oh, okay. I wrote a long thing on YouTube, but since you're here, I'll just tell you what it said. Your question on the Uniflow tank, the RC Uniflow tank, what was it in its complete question?
Yeah, it was just a question about the the end of the Uniflow line outside of the tank in a full-bodied fuselage. And I think I've heard you say that you use muffler pressure. Well, I haven't. I don't. And so if you're not going to, what's the best position and location to terminate that line?
Well, let me tell you first why I run muffler pressure. What I do is up higher than the tank on the inboard side of the fuselage. I put a copper tube through and bend it forward into the airstream.
Okay.
Okay, and I hooked the internal flex line from the Uniflow line to the other end inside the fuselage. So now that's pointing into the airstream. The problem is without muffler pressure, when I go into the wind, it gets rich. It leans out when it goes away from the wind. In other words, the pressure from the flight in and out of the wind is causing me problems, and that causes a problem for me anyway with flying the pattern. So I use the muffler pressure. I haven't had a bit of problem on. I can't think of one airplane I've had problem running muffler pressure to the tanks that I run. So I heard someone say, I think it was Phil said that somebody told him you're putting in carbon and other crap in the fuel. I run the Dubro centered bronze filter inside the tank. That's my pickup.
Mm.
That's my what do you call it? Well, anyway, and so I filter in the fuel in, so I don't worry about that. I filter the fuel going in. When I pull it out, it's goes through filtered. When I put it into the tank, it filters through that, and anything gets in the tank is filtered out from it that way. So I've never had a problem with it. It's run very well for me. So does that help you?
It does. Thank you. I'm gonna have to play around with it. You know, to this point, I've only had profile stunners, and I terminated that Uniflow line behind the back plate out of the airstream.
Right.
And it's worked really well. But now I have to do something
Yeah,
different
well,
because it's my first full-bodied stunner.
right. I was going to say you can put the Uniflow line where it's even inside the fuselage, but then run a tube down and just straight out the bottom, and you can use that to fill with.
Yeah,
Okay.
I suppose I could
If
do
you
that.
don't want
Yeah.
to run muffler, if you don't want to run muffler pressure, but I'd say try the muffler pressure. It really works well for me.
Yeah, I think I will try it. Thank you.
Can I ask you guys
You bet.
something? And don't
Yep.
think that I'm stupid for asking, please.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
curious, I'm curious, Mr. Miller. I've never experienced what you're talking about, and I don't quite understand how what you're doing is working for you. Can you further explain maybe how is the muffler pressure helping your situation when you have a brass tube into the wind for a uniflow design, so to say? So you have a uniflow with pressor going to it, is that correct?
Yeah,
So you
run the
have
pressure from the muffler.
so hang on a second. Let me get this straight. You have a inlet for the wind to come in and blow into the uniflow. Then you have a vent, the tank to vent. Then you have a pickup for the fuel to go into the venturi, and your muffler pressure is going to the vent line. Is that correct?
No, it's going to the Uniflow line, and the vent line is plugged up when I'm running. So I take the plug
Okay,
out, fill a tank,
so
and
then
then put the plug in the overflow.
So then So then the brass tube that you have going through the fuselage on the other side for the wind inducting, for the wind induction for the uniflow, that now you're saying becomes the pickup for the pressure intake, for the pressure inlet?
Okay, you go.
All right, Jim. Thank you, Jim, for coming in.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I didn't hear you. We locked up on that. You want to try again there?
The vent line. Where does the vent? Where do you plug the vent line into your uniflow tank that you're describing? You say you have a custom-made uniflow tank. You have a plastic tank that you designed with a uniflow pickup, correct?
Well, not really. It's a regular RC tank, plastic tank. But there's several places on the internet and on Stunt Hangar. There's a layout of it, shows you exactly how to do it. You have one pickup line.
I understand quite well how to make a uniflow. How to make a uniflow with a plastic tank. I understand that. I'm just trying to understand how you're hooking up pressure, to the uniflow, and you have the uniflow operating at the same time you have a pressure. Otherwise, you have the uniflow with pressure going to it, and now it's just a pressurized tank.
Well, if you pressurize the uniflow tube, it sucks the uniflow overflow close, so you have no other air going in anywhere except at through the uniflow.
And that's from the muffler pressure, correct?
Yes, that's correct. So what I have on some planes, what I do is I run from the muffler to the uniflow, the upper side of the inboard fuselage, and then I'll run a tube down, straight down. It comes straight out the bottom, and I use a 440 bolt or Allen head, and that's my stopper. I just shove it in there. When I go to fill it up, I pull that bolt out, fill it up through the uniflow line, the uniflow tube, and then once it's full, I block off the overflow line. It is a pressurized tank, but it's pressurized through the uniflow line.
Got you. Okay, now let me ask you this. From my experience running pressure on a metal uniflow tank, which is probably different, I'm assuming, on the metal uniflow tank, after the tank runs about 1.5 ounces of fuel, then it changes speed and it leans out and it runs a little faster on the bottom half. Do you have that same problem with the tank set that you run?
Nope. And how are you hooking up your metal tanks?
He went away. I think he's coming back. I think his camera, we lost his video is gone, but his mic still.
My phone's in and out. It's going in and out.
Okay.
And you can make a metal tank that runs consistently all the way too.
Exactly. You just hook it up like that. You run the pressure through the uniflow line. You block off the overflow. The third line is connected to your venturi.
When I make a metal uniflow tank, I put the uniflow about 1/4 inch, the end of it, about 1/4 inch ahead of the pickup, soldered to it, and so it can't possibly move. And between that or plastic tanks, doing like John said, or doing a double clunk, it's totally consistent until the maybe the last lap or two when it starts surging.
I got away from the double clunks just because I realized that the uniflow by where it's located establish the center line of the tank where the fuel head is.
Yeah.
Is constant. But you've got it going up and down with the clock, then it's moving as well. And I have a suspicion that it can or could.
Well, yeah, froze up, John.
So much easier because of bubbles. I put up C ones. I actually got it in the middle of the tank on the side view. Did I? How about now?
Looking fun.
Okay.
This next call chat, bro.
Hey guys, I'm going to end the live stream right now, and we can continue on in the after party. I want to thank everybody for coming in and tuning in.
Cool.
Hopefully, you have a chance to watch the replay and give us a like, share, subscribe, and wish you all a pleasant evening and fair winds and tight lines. See ya.